What's up, you guys? It's me, Kate Hadamio, the ketogenic lifestyle expert, a mom of girls, and a master group fitness instructor. With me tonight, I have Calvin Purnell, and I'm so excited to speak with him. Calvin and I go way back to our days in Philadelphia where he is. And, I'm so proud of Calvin because he is now the author of an awesome book called Polished, which is a young professional's guide for success. He's an author and a motivational speaker. And I know that I usually have people that are just kind of in like health and fitness on here, but it's so important that when we think of whole body health, we wrap our mind into what we're doing. We have that mental connection. And this is what Calvin brings to the table. Calvin was born and raised in Philadelphia. At the age of 15, he started working at McDonald's and helped 5 of his best friends get hired to avoid selling drugs. In 1994, he began his career in information technology and helped people with resume writing and job searching. Today, he still enjoys helping others with their resumes and job searches. Calvin encourages people to find their passion and run with it. Those acts of kindness motivate him to inspire others to pay it forward by leading and teaching by example. I'm so excited to welcome Calvin. Calvin, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Hey, Kate, thanks for having me. It's great to see you. I haven't seen you in years, but, I've seen you on Facebook, been following you there. But again, like I said, great to see you. So for me, again, as Kate introduced, I am a motivational speaker and an author, working on a few more books as well that follow up with Polish. So Polish is a 3-part series, and look forward to the second book. Hopefully that'll be out in 2018.
Wow.
That's my goal. So I'm working on towards submitting that to the publisher by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully everything will run pretty smooth with that. But outside of that, like Kate introduced me, I'm in information technology. I've been in it since 1994. I guess it's like 23 years now. And I love it. And I also love writing. So I picked up the gift and the art of writing back in 2000, just writing in my journal, just having fun, just doing little short stories here and there, just things to have a release for myself. And someone read my journal one time and they were like, hey, you need to write a book. And I'm like, yeah, not me. Won't do it. Not a big deal. Can't do it.
Yeah.
So back in, it was 2012, I started working for a company called Fiberlink, which has been acquired by IBM. So I've been with them for almost 5 years now. And at that time, spiritually, God told me, now is the time to write this book. And I'm like, okay, what book do I write? And what I had to do was analyze the environment that I was in. And it was a lot of young professionals, and some of them you can just simply see that they didn't have mentors. So God was like, now's the time to write this book, basically have a mentor in the book. And that's how Polished came about. So I started writing the book without a title. I had the subtitle, just didn't know what the actual title was going to be. And it was just basically a young professional's guide for success. So that process came up. And then a few months into working there, I met with the CEO and actually had a phone interview with him before getting hired. And just met with him, quick conversation, face-to-face at the time after working there. And, he went back to my director and said, hey, I think Calvin is like one of the most polished guys on your team. So my director came back and told me that. And it was just like, wow, that's the title.
That's awesome.
Polished,
yeah.
The young professional's guide for success. So just plugged away with it and just continuously wrote in it. Then I had my times where, I didn't write because of writer's block kicking in and life happens, those types of things. And, I had a friend of mine and actually wrote about it in the book. His name is Dan Price. He was like, found out you're writing a book. You need to, continue with this. And I need this book in my hand, at least the first draft in my hand before I go on my honeymoon. I want to read it on the airplane.
Nice.
So, he was my accountability partner. So I owe a lot of credit to Dan for giving me that push to continue to move forward with it. And that was something that helped me and kept the fire underneath my butt. But at that time, I was, like I said, just continued to write, put it out. And once it got published, it was like, wow, this actually happened. It came out on April 1st of 2016, which was kind of weird because it's April Fool's
Day.
And people were like, I don't know if you really wrote a book or are you just joking? Because I can be a jokester at times. So, I had a lot of fun with that, pushed it out there, and I'm continuously pushing it. And I'm actually getting ready to I'm getting ready to put a commercial out tomorrow that I did for Polished, just to continuously push the book and push the brand of Polished and push the brand of CP Speaks. And that's something that I really enjoy doing, is just motivating people, just keeping people inspired, as well as keeping myself inspired, because, you know, we have those mental blocks and those physical blocks that come in at times that kind of like stop us. But then you have to remember, you know what? I deserve this. I deserve the success. I deserve anything that I envision for my life that's positive. And we have to continue to push through those things and, you know, just continuously move forward, you know, forward progress. We look behind us at times to see the reminders of where we came from. And, you know, you look at those things, whether they're good or bad, and you need to say, you know what, I need to use those things as motivation to drive me forward. And that's one of the things that I like to talk about, is using your fear as fuel, because fear kicks in, it stops you. And it's just like, you know what, I know I need to get these things done, but you know what, let me use this fear as fuel to drive me forward. And we just have to continuously work on those things. So.
And that is such an interesting point, because I definitely, I'm, as a business owner and a human being, I feel a lot of fear in all kinds of aspects.
Right.
And, you know, it's what you said about people deserving, they deserve to have the best life, and they deserve to have like the best of themselves. I think that that's really important too. And that is where people, I think, don't get started either, whether it's like with a diet or an exercise program, or like going for their dreams in a career. Maybe it's holding them back, that they just don't feel like they deserve it. Right. Or what are you finding with the people that you're working with?
Yeah. So a lot of times, again, it's the fear factor that kicks in, and people get stopped in their tracks. And I've been there. I understand how it goes. But, you know, like I said, anything that you envision for yourself that's positive, you can obtain that. And, you know, for me, it's all spiritual. You know, I pray and I ask God to give me the guidance and direction that I need to get me to the point where I'm receiving and I'm achieving the goal that I'm setting out for. So whether it's anything like, you know, being spiritually sound, good health, love, financial freedom, a great body, a great career, success, whatever success is for you, that can be, you know, waking up in the morning and being able to put your feet on the ground, that's success. And I look at that as success. I know that. But, you know, again, it's one of those things of knowing that you deserve it, because we're all here to help each other out. We're all here to make sure that we can, you know, assist other people, make sure that we can get the things that we want and get the things that we deserve, to get the things that we need. And God has no respect of person. So that's one of the things that I pay attention to. And this is more recent than anything. And I'm paying more attention to it now, because you look at some people who you look at them and you say, wow, that person is really successful, but you don't know the journey and the path that they had to go through in order to get to the points that they're at, of their obtaining that success. So, you know, when you envision it, you say, you know what, I deserve that. And once you make it up in your mind, it's all about having the proper mindset and going for it. You know, for me, I pray about it and I ask God to order my steps, give me the guidance and information that I need, so that way I can make sure that I obtain those goals and achieve those goals. But I can say, being a human, sometimes you interfere with God's work.
Absolutely. Right. And I was just going to ask you, so when does it come down to like thy will versus my will?
That's a hard one. So, you know, a lot of times, and I'll take this for as an example for me today, I made it up in my mind, and I had a challenge from a coworker that says, hey, I challenge you to do 30,000 steps in a day before the end of April. Yesterday I was going to do it, but it rained here. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it today. And he sent me a text. He was like, how'd you make out? I said, didn't do it because of the rain. And again, I could have gone outside and walked. It wasn't raining that bad. But again, you know, I used my free will, and I chose not to go out and do it. But I made it up in my mind to say, you know what? Hey, tomorrow is going to be a better day. Let me get out there and do it. So I did 14.7 miles today, just walking. And
oh my gosh.
It was a rough paper route. You know, the beginning stages was great, but then I think maybe like the last hour of the walk, it was like, okay, I need to call somebody and tell them to come pick me up.
Yeah.
But in my head, I said, you know what? I have to mentally beat this. I need to push forward, because I know this is something that I set out to do, and I prayed and I asked God to give me the strength to do it. And he's supplying that strength. And I look at it as though, you know, he's given me the ability to be physically fit, physically sound, and having the ability to go out and take that walk. And I just pushed through, regardless of my legs being sore, my feet being sore. I could have used free will and said, you know what, let me just pick up the phone and call somebody. You know, what is it? with that millionaire show. I can't remember when you call your phone a
Oh
friend.
yeah, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. So I just made sure I said, I'm not going to phone a friend. I'm just going to walk through and I'm going to get this done. So, utilizing the strength that God gave me and having that mental toughness, I was able to push through it.
Yeah. And like, we all struggle with like different things. Like today it was your walk. That was
Right.
like the big challenge. And I think for some of us who are trying to kick like sugar addictions, or, we want to follow a certain lifestyle of eating or exercising or whatever, the beginning of the day starts out like the beginning of your walk. We all have like the best of intentions. Like, I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, And then by like towards the end of the day, you're like, I need to eat all the food.
Right.
Like every single thing that's in here. Like
Yeah.
right now, I'm like starving. But yeah, so like I think mindset is just so, so, so important. So what are some of the tips and tricks that you give to get into like that right mindset and to be successful in
So
whatever you set out to do?
Okay. Yeah. So for me, the tips that I give are things that I've actually done. And, for me, I would start my day. I wake up, thank God for waking me up this morning, and I pray and I read a devotional, and I share those devotionals online on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram and Twitter so other people can read it. And I, have a pretty decent following. So that's how I start my day, and is getting my mind right and making sure that I am protected from a spiritual sense, a positive spiritual sense. I'll say that because there are some evil
Sure.
spirits out there too. So you get that protection. And once you get that protection, you make it up in your mind. Today is going to be a great day. You may wake up not feeling that great, but you can tell yourself today is going to be a good day. And once you tell yourself today is going to be a good day, what you're doing is you're putting that out into the universe that this is what's going to happen for me today. It's going to be a great day, regardless of anything that I see, regardless of how I feel, regardless of any other thing that may come up, any type of adversity that may come up. Once you get to those points where, like, hey, all right, I made it out of the bed. I jumped in the shower. I got dressed. I made it out of the door. Now I'm on my way to work or on your way somewhere, regardless of where that somewhere is. You just make sure that you keep continuously putting your foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And it's just as simple as that. And you have that goal in mind. Like for me, my destination was my goal was to get to a certain point and then turn around to come back home. So every day you should set a goal for yourself, whether you're going to exercise or whether you're going to make sure you eat the proper things that you should eat. And, once you do those particular things, or let's just talk about writing your resume. If you want to write your resume, make sure you write your resume because it's a huge thing. So once you make it up in your mind, you put that destination in place and you say, okay, this is where I need to get to. And you get to that point and then you walk back. And you go through the processes. Like for me, I can't go to a track. I would love to, but each lap that I take, there's an exit right there for me to walk out the gate.
Yeah.
And, that's why I try to make a destination. So once I make that destination in my mind is there, and then I have to get back, regardless whether I walk it or run it, I have to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, it's the mindset. Making sure that, you are in a place where you can achieve these goals.
Yeah.
And once you know and you make it up in your mind, just go to work. That's the biggest piece, is going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And the going to work part, like, what do you think? Do you have a good, some systems in place? And do you recommend that for professionals, like, or anybody? Is it really kind of about like, creating a system that you follow, checklists, things like that? Like, what does getting to work kind of entail for you?
Yeah, for me, it's, envisioning whatever success that I'm trying to obtain. And once I envision that and I see it, what I start to do is research people who are doing the things that I want to do, and people who have been successful. So you find yourself a mentor, whether it's a physical mentor. You introduce yourself to this person and say, hey, these are the things that I've noticed you were doing, and this is where I'd like to go. Can you help me get to that space? Because I've seen you be successful in those areas. And if that person says yes, guess what? You got a thumbs up, and you need to make sure you do not waste that person's time or yours. And if it's not a physical mentor, it could be a virtual mentor, someone that you just follow on social media, and you see the things that they're doing. You look at the information that they're putting out there. And if you can't get in touch with that person, just follow their steps. People like they say, success leaves clues. And if people are in situations where they are posting information, they are, talking or putting up things that they've written saying, hey, these are the steps that I've taken. What you need to do is just follow those steps to a T. I mean, you may need to implement your own way and make it fit your way, because everybody's lifestyle is a little bit different. But once you adapt to that, just continue to move forward, and that will get you closer to your success each time you put the work in.
Yeah. And you brought up a lot of points that, I've read in a lot of personal development books by
Right.
Hal Elrod and The Miracle Morning. And I'm reading The Universe Has Your Back right now by Gabby Bernstein, which I totally love. And there are so many similarities with what you do and what the most successful people in the world are doing. And that is creating a morning routine. And yours is, you start out with gratitude and a devotional to start your day. Those are your two non-negotiables. And you decide what kind of day you're having. You do a lot of visualization, which people talk about all the time. And then you really move through your life with love. And that is very much what Gabby Bernstein says and does. She says, just move forward with love. And I know that, you're very big on paying it forward with your life success and everything else.
Yes, definitely. And, sometimes adversity comes in and, it's hard at times to deal with those particular things, but you have to know, hey, I deserve better. These are the things that I may be experiencing right now, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it doesn't look like it. It just looks like it's dark and you can't see. And, you have so many different roadblocks coming in. But one of the things that I learned from my grandmother and my uncle who have passed away is, regardless of anything, love. And once you put that love out there and you share it and you spread it, it's going to come back to you. You just have to. That's just the way that we were designed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love it. What is the best piece of advice that you would want to give anyone right now who is sitting back and knows that they want something better for their lives, but they don't know where to start?
Okay, so the best piece of advice that I can give is my tagline, which is you cannot give up on yourself. And I say that because I was in a situation where I was incarcerated, and being incarcerated was it's a showstopper for some people. And I was into my career in information technology. And when I was like, you know what, all right, you're going to be getting out soon of jail. What are you going to do? It was maybe I'll just be a trash man or something because nobody's going to want to hire me. But I made it up in my mind that I was successful before, and I have lots of information. I have lots of people and lots of resources that can vouch for my credit and my experience and my character, minus the incarceration, and say, hey, Calvin is actually a good guy. He just got caught up in the situation, and, he's worth giving the second chance to. And, I made that up in my mind, and I just went forward. And I had to rebrand myself to make sure that, I didn't fit into the mold of a convicted felon as a repeat offender. I call myself one and done. It's never happening again, regardless of anything. I don't care. Anything can happen to me. I'm not committing a crime to go back to jail because that's no place for anyone as far as I'm concerned. But, I had to make it up in my mind that I can't give up on myself. As much as I want to throw in the towel some days, it's just you know what? I have kids. I have a family. I need to make sure that I am around for them. I need to make sure that I am able to provide for them. I need to make sure that I am here to love them so that way they can feel the love versus hearing it over the telephone. They need to physically feel it. So I just keep going. And, I just have to, give it again. I can't stop giving it up to God, because without the strength that God has provided for me and given me the ability to continue to push forward, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm looking to go higher than where I am today as well. And, but I'm humble about it. I'm not going to, get a big head about it, because you can't. As soon as you start doing that, you start to lose. And I don't want to lose. I just want to make sure that I push forward and continuously work on the things that I know that I have to offer for people to receive and to learn from and get the experiences. And, I want to be able to experience things from other people as well. So you can't give up on yourself. You just have to keep pushing forward. If you want it, you can achieve it. You deserve it. You have to go forward.
Yay! I feel so good.
Yeah.
I do. I feel really good.
That's good. I'm glad. Thanks.
Where can people buy your book? Where can people buy Polished?
Okay, so they can go to my website, which is www.cpspeaks.com. And on there, you'll see a store. They have access to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and the publishing company, which is Balboa Press. So it's available for whatever venue that you like to purchase it from.
Awesome. And where can we find you?
Okay, so I am on Instagram, Twitter, and on LinkedIn and Facebook. So if you go to any of those platforms, you can search for Calvin Purnell Jr. and I will come up. You will notice there are multiple names for me. So on Instagram, it's Mindfully Speaking. But again, search Calvin Purnell. It's there. Twitter, CP Speaks, Calvin Purnell Jr. And it's there. LinkedIn, Calvin Purnell Jr. Facebook, Calvin Purnell Jr.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much. You guys make
welcome.
sure that you check out Calvin, that you check out his book Polish. He's such a great guy with such an awesome story, and really is just trying to pay it forward with love. And don't we need more of that? I mean, we seriously can't have enough of that. So check out Polish, and then check out the second and third series in this amazing, these second and third books in this amazing series. Because like Calvin said, you guys deserve it. Calvin, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Kate. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity.
My pleasure. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
All right.
Cool.
Hold on.